Hey you guys, all right, so today we are talking all things Disney, which if you are a Disney World fanatic like I am, or a Disney in any way fanatic, hopefully you'll enjoy this. I posted a bunch of photos on Instagram from our trip. My husband and I took our 4-year-old daughter to Disney World. This is her second time. We also went when she was 1. We stayed there on her first birthday. I'll talk about that too. But you guys, when I posted those photos, everyone's like, oh, Disney World video, like tips, this, that, and it wasn't like a vlog. It was like you wanted to see opinions. You wanted to see like mistakes, things to avoid, things that I like. Y'all were saying, did you like this hotel better than that hotel or whatever? I feel like I have so much information to share. So this is gonna be chatty. It's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna share a lot of like fun stories and some tips. But I think hopefully this will be really helpful. I've been to Disney World, I don't even know how many times, more times than I can count throughout my life. The first time I went, I think I was like in first grade. So like back in like 91. As I got older, I went a lot with my family. You know, we'd bring my friends, my sister would come, and then, my sister's a little older than I am, so I would bring friends, and then Brad and I, we went, I think once before we were married, and then we went there for our honeymoon. We went so many times after we were married, just as like, a fun adult trip together. And then of course, like I said, 2 times, once with a baby, once with a 4-year-old. And so I feel like I've done Disney so many different ways at different times in my life, stayed all different places, done it so many different ways. And I want to share a lot with you guys that I've learned over the years through like trial and error or just through my experiences. I think that I know that it's a fact that Disney is very expensive. It's a big commitment to take your family there, and you want to get the best out of your trip. You want your kids to enjoy it. You want to enjoy it. And there's so many things that you can do to make your trip enjoyable. And there's things that I think you should keep in mind. So like, we've stayed so many different places, so many different ways. So through this video, sharing a ton of my own personal experiences, like I said, like fails, like good and bad, lots of tips though. We're just gonna hit tons of different tips. And I'm not gonna be like, tip 1, tip this, we're just gonna all get it. But I'm thinking in my mind, the first thing I would say is know that it's freaking Florida. It's hot, it's hotter than hell, okay? And I've been all different places where the heat feels a little different. When it's 90 degrees and humid, it feels like, it's pretty unbearable. It can be very hot. It could feel like you're roasting, like we would just run in places, and like, it could be very hot. And so combine that with bringing kids, and this is such a huge place. If you're familiar with Disneyland, Disney World is totally different. I've never been to Disneyland. I know just the statistics of how big it is versus, and how it's set up versus like Disney World. Disney World has the Magic Kingdom, which is like what you think of when you think of Disney World, with the castle and everything, all the little rides. That is a big park. There's also 5 more of those parks, like not like in the park, like they're spread out over the whole Disney property. Like look it up. I don't want to give any quotes or anything of how big one is versus the other. It's insane. I've had friends that are like from the West Coast that have traveled to come to Disney World, and didn't even know what to expect, and we're like, holy crap. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's literally it's a different world. But you have to plan your trip accordingly as far as like time of the year. We went at the end of April, and I thought, okay, whatever, hotter than hell, okay? I've been at every time during the year, been in January, February, I would say probably every single season. We actually woke up on Christmas morning there one year, and and it was nice. One day it was 80 degrees in December. The next day we were buying Mickey gloves because it was literally in the 40s. Like fake snow on the streets. So it can be all over the place. We've done Halloween. We've done every single time of the year you can imagine. But I would say, and I believe the least crowded time and the best feeling time I would believe would be like January or February. We went in April because it just worked out. The last time we went was in January for Olivia's birthday, but we just thought, from now on when we go, it would be worth keeping your kid out of school for a couple days just to go in January. As far as like how we like to do Disney and how we don't, I think that's like, you can do Disney so many different ways. You can be the person that is like, I'm gonna get into more specifics, like how to plan it, how they, do all the magic bands, all the fast passes, things you shouldn't do, whatever. We'll get into that, but I'm just trying to hit all the broad things. But you can plan Disney in a way, and I have done this with my family years ago, like when I was a teenager. My mom would plan out the trip, and it would be like, I've hit every single corner of the park, right? Start in the morning, do everything, hit it all. And you're just like on a mission, and it can get very tiring. When Brad and I started going like as adults, like, we had seen everything and we just did the things we wanted to do. We would get the meal plan, which I highly recommend. We would get the deluxe meal plan, which we got this time as well. You pay a certain amount and then every single day you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's already paid for, you know, you just scan your band. Every person gets an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert 3 times a day. It is insane. You will end up like it's crazy. You get so many snacks every day. Changed it recently, and I remember it used to not be where you could get alcoholic beverages with it, but now you can get alcoholic beverages with your meal. And then of course all over the park they're serving just the craziest food and everything, and you can use every day you have snack credits, so you can like scan it and get snacks. So you're not gonna go hungry, and I just feel like it's worth doing that so that you're not stressing about like, oh, we have to pay for this, you know, because it is kind of a shock how expensive things are. It makes it fun when you're like, like what can I buy? You know, like it's because literally you could walk up to a hot dog stand and like get a meal at a walk up like hot dog stand, and your meal might cost like $30, or you could go to a place and have like a $200 meal. It's the same. So you have to kind of like, don't make yourself miserable thinking I've got to hit the nicest places, but just go the places that you want to go. And I feel like Brad and I, when we would go as adults, we just wanted to go to the good restaurants. We wanted to ride the things we wanted to ride, and we just would have a good time. But when you're an adult, when you're a teenager, you can get around a lot faster. You can do those kind of like bigger, you know, more aggressive, or I should say, enthusiastic Disney trips where you were just gonna hit everything and it's like a trip. Brad and I personally just don't love doing it that way. Like, we know the parks, like we know what we like, and we're just gonna go do what we wanna do and make it easy on ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Brad and I were together a very long time before we had Olivia. Like I said, we traveled, we did all kinds of things. So there's times, especially like to Disney World and stuff, so there's times when sometimes we'll look at each other and we'll be like, oh my gosh, like Olivia will be freaking out, or like, you know, just in real life, you know, just not even at Disney World, but like we'll be like, oh my gosh, we're parents, like this is happening. You know, it's kind of funny because we were together so long without that it's kind of like, it's just funny sometimes. And when you're at Disney World, especially like when she was a baby, you know, she was in her stroller, we would just push her around, take her little places, and it was so low key, you guys, and I'll get into that in a second. It's a baby, hello. Oh, she was 1. She turned 1 when she was there, so not a baby, but okay, whatever. 4-year-old is much different, and we would look at each other and be like, wow, this is a totally different experience, you know? And we knew you're taking your child. You don't want to plan this big trip and say, oh, my kid may not like Epcot. There's not a whole lot there's kids things in every park, but I just thought, okay, she's probably only gonna like the Nemo ride, and she's probably only gonna like the Frozen ride, which is at 2 opposite ends of the park. That is a huge ass park, right? Again, it was hot. I'm like, do we waste the day doing that, or do we just go back to the freaking Magic Kingdom because that's what she wants to do? Do you know what I mean? You have to know your kid. Do what they want to do. Don't do things because you want to do them and say, okay guys, we're going to Epcot today and that's what we're doing. And your kids are like, yeah, I hate Epcot. Well, no, that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? You're going to have a miserable family all freaking day long. Do what your kids want to do. When we went to the Magic Kingdom, you know, we took it just little bits at a time. We did like 3 days at the Magic Kingdom. We just kept going back because she loved the rides. She loved certain things. We kind of figured out what she liked to do. And one of the things that she really liked to do that I never gave a crap about were the character meetups. I don't know why. When I was a kid, I was like, I want to ride rides. I don't want to meet characters. Olivia, you would have thought that like Oprah was around the corner, like at every turn. It was the most fun thing. And Brad and I ended up enjoying that more than anything, watching her, you know, with the characters. And that's the point, is like you get your enjoyment out of watching your children have the fun. Do you know what I mean? So you don't need to just give in and say, okay, kids, plan the trip. You gotta do what you wanna do. But Brad and I would go, so for this trip, you know, we did all the little rides, did things that she wanted to do. Obviously, it's a trip for your, you know, it's their trip too. And we wanted to do what she wanted to do. Then like we went to really nice restaurants, or we went to places we like to do, or little things that we remembered, you know, that we liked to go to. And we had a good time. And it doesn't matter how well behaved your child is, they're gonna get antsy in line. They're gonna, I would say, get fast passes for Mickey Mouse and Minnie, like to meet them, because that's the most boring line on earth. There's nothing to look at. Do not even attempt to ride the Peter Pan ride without a fast pass, because you'll be held hostage for an hour and a half, which is basically what happened to us. We were there late one night. We were like, we'll get out of here at like 7:30 before the fireworks start, but let's just run into the Peter Pan ride. It doesn't look like there's anyone in line. And I think the sign said like 20 minutes because they hadn't updated it. So we went in, and they've made the line, like where the restrooms used to be back there, they turned that into like a waiting area that's inside, and it was literally like hell on earth. And so, you know, Olivia had snacks, and that's another thing, bring a backpack. Brad had a backpack, I did, and every time we would go into the park, we would each buy a water so that we didn't have to get out of line and get thirsty. We would just always have the water in our backpack, and of course throughout the day we would buy more drinks and stuff. But it's just nice to have that and then have snacks for your kids. Don't let your kids hang off of other people's backpacks, which is what happened to us all the time. Not our kid, other kids hanging off of us. So, well, I mean, have some decency, do you know what I mean? So the hotels, let's talk about the hotels, because that's really, when you book your trip, so we'll get into more like specific things in a minute, but let's talk about like just, my biggest thing, when you're booking your trip, you pick your hotel, right? And like I said, Disney's expensive. There's different like ranges of hotels. There's the deluxe resorts, which are the monorail resorts that are around the Magic Kingdom area. There's the Grand Floridian, which we stayed at when Olivia was 1, the Polynesian, which we stayed at this time, and then the Contemporary, and they're all in a circle. I've been to the Contemporary, we've never stayed there. We've ate there before at the California Grill, which is really nice. The Wilderness Lodge, which is in the Magic Kingdom area, but it's not on the monorail. That's a little more expensive. Then there's like the moderate resorts, which is like Port Orleans, I believe Coronado Springs, the Caribbean Beach Resort, which is where I used to always stay with my family. Brad and I also stayed at Port Orleans. Let me tell you, those are so spread out. You can only get to places by bus. So like the Caribbean Beach Resort is huge. Like if you're gonna walk to the food court or walk to get breakfast in the morning, you got like a 30-minute trek ahead of you. I remember going there as a kid and we would wake up and it was like such a big deal to get there, and we would always make sure we stayed close to the food court, but it was still such a walk. And then you had to walk to the bus stop, and then the bus had to stop at like 8 other stops within the resort, and then it's just a hassle, okay? Now, sure, you're gonna save some money staying there, and then there's the value resorts, which are the ones that look like, you know, sports or things like that or whatever, which I think would honestly, and I believe those are smaller and more compact, and if you're going with like teenagers or like kids that are around like 10, 11, 12, I think that honestly, like if you're trying to save money and you just wanted a long trip, you were like, look, we wanna go, we wanna do everything, we wanna stay maybe 5 or 6 nights, like I don't even know, maybe stay at one of those. Because I just feel like the Caribbean and the Port Orleans, Brad and I had a horrible experience staying at the Port Orleans. This was like years before Olivia was born. Not only do you have like a ton of different stops, like bus stops within the resort, but it would stop at this campground and then it would stop somewhere else. And we like missed dinner reservations. Like it was a nightmare. And so then when we took Olivia, we decided, let's just stay at the Grand Floridian. That was somewhere I always dreamt of staying when I was a kid. It's just beautiful. And we had a really good time, and you could get you just get on the monorail, you're at the Magic Kingdom in 5 minutes. You don't have to fold your stroller up. You don't have to wait on a bus. You don't have to fold your stroller up on the bus. It's hassle. That was worth it. And so when you have small kids, you're not gonna stay quite as long. I mean, we only stayed maybe, I think 3 nights. So it was like expensive because you're staying at a nice resort, but you're not staying as long. And you're getting more time in the parks because you're not wasting half the day on Disney transportation trying to get places or, you know, park to park. It's literally just like you're there. So I'd say maybe consider that, especially if you've got small children with a stroller. You know what I mean? It was just, that was so easy. But I would never stay at the Grand Floridian again. I loved it because we loved the Polynesian so much. It was themed, it was beautiful. We had a theme park view room. You have to pay a little more for that, but it's like, Disney's expensive. If you're already paying a lot of money to go, shell out a couple extra $100 for that theme park view, because you can be in your room at night and like see the castle and see the fireworks. You don't have to stay in the park with your small children until 9 o'clock at night and have a sea of people coming out and you're like scrambling to get to the bus or scrambling to get to the Magic or to the monorail, waiting in huge lines. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. Try to get out of the park, you know, before that would start. One night we actually stood under the castle and saw the fireworks, and Olivia loved them, which was huge because I never liked them as a kid. They just, even as I got older, they always gave me so much anxiety. I don't know why. But she loved them, and so that was really special. But we still kind of like walked out before the show was over and watched the rest on the monorail, and then the rest of the nights we watched it, you could hear the music. It was just amazing. So I would say that's definitely worth it. You just get on the monorail and you're there in like 5 minutes. You know, there's, of course, you stay at the Contemporary, you have a walking trail to the Magic Kingdom. Don't stay at that hotel just for that. Do you know what I'm saying? The Polynesian, I just feel, just could not be beat. It's directly across the lake. So you see the castle like head on rather than at the Grand Floridian. You're kind of looking at the castle from the left. The big thing that I loved about the Polynesian is that it was themed. And you know, the Grand Floridian is themed in like a fancy Victorian theme and it's beautiful, but It was so much fun going into the Polynesian. Everyone says aloha, you know, everybody's so sweet. And the theme is just so fun. It's very like Hawaiian. It's just beautiful. And the food is the reason I would stay there every single time. They had so many restaurants, so much great food. They had the place that's just like, you know, like your walk up, you know, place where you get, you know, a good place to go for breakfast in the morning, kind of like a quick service place, but it's beautiful. You can sit outside. They had a beautiful place inside. I am still craving the nachos there. They were these pulled pork nachos that they have inside Captain Cook's, which is like their more casual place. They were like wonton chips almost in the nachos. So good. And then real potato chips in there, like real hand-cut potato chips. And pulled pork, a little bit of barbecue sauce, some sweet sauce, pineapple, green onion, tomato. I kind of want to make them at home, but I know I'll disappoint myself because they won't be anywhere near. I ate those 3 times while we were there. They were that good. Delicious drinks, like just Hawaiian themed out the yang, like another place you could walk up and eat a little fancier, and then they would serve you like, you know, Hawaiian drinks and everything. A little like bar that was just for adults, 2 of them, I believe. A big restaurant called Ohana, which is where they do like the skewers and like a little nicer food, like character breakfasts. They have the dinner show, the luau show, walk up places to eat at the pool, or they have the Dole Whip window, the pineapple lanai place, which is like, it's worth staying there just for the Dole Whip, just saying. But I don't think I would ever stay anywhere else. And I know that's crazy to say. So that's a big deal. And I would say if you're planning on going to Disney and you're spending a lot of money, where you stay is important. You know, there's been times, like I said, when I was a teenager where we would just go all day, and literally you come home and your head's hitting the pillow. The Caribbean and Port Orleans, especially the Caribbean beach, huge. They're so spread out that sometimes it's like work just to get in and out of the resort. I'd honestly, if you're gonna do that, and if you're not gonna stay at one of like the deluxe places, like either the Grand Floridian or the Polynesian or even the Contemporary, stay at the Polynesian, it's so good. I don't know if I would even stay at the Caribbean or the Port Orleans, or like Coronado Springs or any of those in between. I think I would just honestly go to one of the value resorts that's on property, like the Disney property, which is like the, there's like the art of I think one's called like animation. It's like, looks like cartoons, one looks like bowling pins. I don't know. I just remember, I haven't seen those in years. I think they still have those. They're not as big, it's spread out. Get a dining plan, eat in the parks, you know, just get out of the hotel quick, because again, it's more compact. Get on the bus, go to a hotel, eat. You're just coming back, you know, to sleep and just kind of relax and stuff. And I think they have fun pools and stuff for kids. So I mean, we've done the water parks too, not this time, but we've done that before when I was younger, and really fun. So yeah, I don't know. I would just say, I don't think I would stay in that middle, because we have a lot, and I just feel like if you're gonna spend some more time at the hotel, especially if you have smaller kids, you cannot be in the parks all the time. When Olivia was 1, we were in the parks very, very little. Plus we had horrible weather, so we didn't like trek out and say, okay, let's like force everybody to put on ponchos and go. We have done that before, which is great when you're a little older and you want to do that. But when your kid's little, you've got like a stroller, you may not want to do that. And I get it. You're like, I've got to get my money's worth. I've got to do all this, but you don't want to be miserable either. And sometimes it's like, you know, if you're staying in a nice hotel, there's just so much to do at your hotel, and you can just make it work. If you do stay at the Polynesian, and you may not want to go to that Ohana for dinner, because sometimes that's their nicest restaurant, because sometimes like they do book up. We discovered that room service, which was nice because we wanted to be in the room at night to like watch the fireworks, you know, call room service, and they have this thing called the Polynesian Twilight Feast. And it's like $60 a person. Again, we had the meal plan, so it was like whatever. I think that it took like maybe 2 credits or whatever. But they brought this thing in. They brought in like your, you know, cart like on fire or whatever, and it was like this big bowl. It's basically the food from the Ohana restaurant. Like it's a sampling of like all their specialties. You get like sticky wings, shrimp, which we left the shrimp off because I can't eat shrimp. The best barbecued steak, so authentic, so delicious. Chicken, pot stickers, vegetables. You got this big old bowl of salad, bread pudding, the best bread, this like pineapple punch stuff. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was so good. We ate it 2 nights in a row. It was that good. So that was really fun to do. And then the last night we just ate, you know, outside under the torches, like around, you know, the pool, and you can watch the little light up water parade come by. So staying at one of those resorts, yes, it's more expensive, and you may not in your mind be able to justify that unless if you've stayed at one, because it's like you get so much more. The experience of watching the fireworks, just the better hotel experience, the better food. It's stuff that your kids will actually like. And I think even with smaller kids, having that, especially like a 4-year-old or something, having that convenience, the monorail, it was just so easy. The monorail can go to the Magic Kingdom, and it can go to Epcot. Another reason to stay at the Polynesian is that there's a walking path to the transportation center, which you can walk to and get on the Epcot monorail without having to ride the resort monorail all the way around to that, if that makes sense. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying, if you stay at the Polynesian, just walk to the transportation and ticket center, which it's like a 3-minute walk. You can get on the Epcot monorail. The day that we went to Disney Studios, we just got on a bus. That was fun. Olivia liked riding the bus. But going to the Magic Kingdom was amazing. Olivia loved it. You know, get fast passes for things like Peter Pan and for character experiences, especially the Mickey and Minnie one. Eat at the Beauty and the Beast restaurant, the Be Our Guest restaurant. She really liked that. Try to eat in the castle. We have done that once. We could not get in this time. We booked our trip maybe 3 months ago and could not get reservations for it. But Brad and I went on our honeymoon and it was nice. Wish Olivia could have experienced that, but we'll do that next time. But don't waste your fast passes for things like the teacups or for Dumbo or for like the Aladdin ride, because those move pretty fast. Like, we rode the carousel over and over and like would just wait like 10 minutes. We rode Dumbo over and over and would just wait like 10 minutes. But then all the rides around them had like hour wait times. Same with the teacups. So those little rides get through pretty fast. She loved the People Mover. Get a fast pass for the Buzz Lightyear ride. That's a good one to get a fast pass for. But you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that, you know, your tiny little kids aren't gonna be able to ride. You know, I knew she wasn't gonna like Space Mountain. We rode the Haunted Mansion. She was so excited about it and loved it. Like the whole little leading up, she was like, yeah. We got in there, it was all dark and she was like, woohoo. But then when we got in there, she was like, wait a minute, like what the hell is this? She didn't like it. So maybe, you know, hold off on that if you don't wanna feel like a terrible parent, like, you know, halfway through the ride with like an upset child, like you're traumatizing them. But you know, kind of know your kid, like don't force them to do things just because you want to. One, they can't ride a lot of the bigger things, but even just going to certain parks, like Animal Kingdom we love, like we've been there before, but I thought, you know, Olivia's not gonna be super excited about that. I mean, of course she'd like it, but at first, so freaking hot. Animal Kingdom is the most miserable place on the earth when it is that hot outside. There's a lot of shade there, but it's still just so boring when it's hot. But I'll say, it's just not my favorite park, but I just know that she's probably gonna love it eventually. But I didn't wanna go just to like, I don't know. I just knew that she was enjoying all these other things, so I thought, we're just really gonna do the Magic Kingdom, do all these characters and the princesses. She filled up like a whole autograph book almost with characters, and that was like her fun thing that Brad and I did not expect. But when we first went into the Magic Kingdom park, the very first night we were there, they were meeting Tinkerbell. That was so huge. She absolutely loved that. And we saw, okay, she's really into this whole character thing. So it was like the whole time she held her book, she's like, I'm finding characters, I wanna find more. And like I said, it was like she was meeting the biggest celebrity you could imagine. It was so, so cute. So the very last day we were there, we were like, okay, what do we do? Like, where should we go? And we decided to go to Disney Studios. I always wanna call it MGM because that's what it used to be called. That was my favorite, still is hands down my favorite park. I love it so much. It was the best day. I had no idea all of the things that they had for kids. They had a whole Disney Junior section. We walked around a corner. We ate lunch at the Brown Derby, which is one of Brad and I's favorite places to eat at Disney. So like again, you know, you can kind of, when you're with your kids, do stuff like that. Eat at fancy restaurants, kind of work in things that you want to do that way. Still ride rides if you want to. You know, you want your kids to be happy. But anyways, we ate there and we walked around the corner because they were doing this like Disney Junior dance party. And Olivia was so excited about it. We got fast passes to it. You know, you get a Disney app on your phone, the Disney My Experience, whatever. While we were on the bus ride over, I made reservations for the Brown Derby. Funny, because usually you can't get reservations like that with that short notice. You can wait for things, but I just, you know, I don't want to spend time waiting for restaurants the whole time. So anyways, got that, and then I got a fast pass for the dance party. And when we walked around the corner to the dance party, there was this little thing where like there were 4 different posts for character meetups, and there was Fancy Nancy, Vampirina, Pluto, and Doc McStuffins. And Olivia lost her mind. Like, it was like, I don't even know, it was so sweet. So we went into the dance party, and the whole time she was just so excited to come out and meet the characters. She had a blast at the dance party. It was the freaking cutest thing ever. Mickey came up on stage and all the kids were like dancing. It's so cute. She stood in line for every single one of the characters. That went so quick. All those little lines went by so fast. Because we just hit that at a good time. But they have the whole Toy Story world now at Disney Studios. So that was really fun. When I was a kid, we would go and it was basically like the Rock and Roller Coaster, and the Tower of Terror was always my favorite. And it was just a bunch of like bigger kids stuff. There was a Star Wars ride, or like, you know, adult, like older you know, stuff that appealed to like older people, but it was never a whole lot of like warm and fuzzy stuff for little kids. She met Donald there when we first went in, so we had a really, really good day there. We did all the Toy Story things. We got to meet Buzz at the Magic Kingdom, but we met Woody and Jessie, and we rode all the Toy Story rides, and she absolutely just had the time of her life. So while you have to experience all the parks, I love Epcot, I love the Animal Kingdom. If you're going with young kids, you don't have to hit all of those. I would say 100% the Magic Kingdom first, and then do what you can there. Don't feel like you gotta knock it all out in one day. Take your time, go back to the hotel if your kids need a rest. Like, just, you know, you may not be able just to drag everyone around all day. You can't do that, and it's pretty grueling, like I said, in the heat. You need to relax. It's a vacation, you know, just do the things you wanna do. So Magic Kingdom, and then for sure Disney Studios, which is, again, one of my, not Universal Studios. I've never been to Universal Studios. That's not Disney, that's totally separate. I'm saying Disney Studios is an actual park, and used to be called MGM. But oh my gosh, it's my favorite. I just love that so much, and it was the best time. Olivia just had the best time. They have like the Star Wars show at night. It's really cute, and we went back, you know, early. We didn't stay all night or anything there, but and they have the Fantasmic show, which is always one of my favorites that I wanted Olivia to see, but we just never really had time to do it. You know, we were tired, and I'm like, we don't want to stay in the park all day just to see that. But we'll see it next time. I think she would really like that. But and, you know, just don't let it become something that's not fun, where you're just focusing on, we have to be here at a certain time, because it's very easy to fall into that. When you make your Disney reservation, you know, that they give you the information, and which I just always do it online, whatever. But they gave you the information of, you know, download My Disney Experience on your phone or whatever. You can go to My Disney Experience on the website, and that's where you start, like, you know, you name the people in your party, you pick the color of your magic bands, which they send you about a month before your trip. You start making your dining reservations at that point. They tell you to do that. They tell you to start making your fast pass, you know, selections of, like, that's where you like skip the line, you know, a little bit. And it's a lot ahead of time. And so, yeah, you can kind of mentally say, well, we may want to do this park this day, this park that day. You kind of have to think that way in some aspects, especially if you're going to plan your dining reservations. I would say the very first thing I would do is just get the Cinderella's Royal Table, especially if you have little kids. You get to meet so many characters. Like I said, we've done that once. You see Cinderella, there's a lot of characters that come out during, and it's just so much fun. I remember when we went, the food was just pretty basic, but I think they've stepped it up since then, because I recently saw a menu and it looked really good. Get a few things that are important to you that you want to eat at. Get a character breakfast if you can. Like I said, at the Polynesian, they have a really good character breakfast at Ohana. But, you know, you may not want to plan out breakfast, lunch, dinner. You don't know what time you're going to want to eat when you're there. Plan a few things and then kind of just let it happen. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the fast passes. We used, I think, one of the fast passes that we even pre-planned. Like, we missed all of them because we were just doing other things that we wanted to do. And I think that's kind of fun. And then during your trip, you can actually do it in real time. You may not have as many options, but yeah, like the day before, if you're like, well, we're not going to Epcot tomorrow, we're actually going to go to Disney Studios, you can do all of your like fast pass things there. Or then. You just don't want to get too overwhelmed. It seems very overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming, but you can see so much and just have a very easygoing, fun trip. You don't want to wear yourself out. It's no fun to go and just be like dead the whole time, and it's very easy to do that. And you know, like I said, Brad and I look at each other and we have those moments of, wow, we're parents. Like, this is so much different now coming to Disney World. Like, look at this. Like, this is hilarious. When you're with a child, and all the years that I used to go, I would see people with children or see people with babies strapped around and thinking, why the heck would anyone bring a kid like that to Disney World? Why would you bring a baby? And you're so, I don't want to say judgmental, but you have those thoughts before you're a parent. And then when you're a parent, you get it. That lady that had the newborn baby strapped to her probably had kids that were older that wanted a Disney experience, and you just have to go and make it happen, and she's doing the best she can. Or if you have a kid that is so excited and wrapped up in the moment, they may not be watching where they're going, or someone may step out in front of you, you know, it may not be a good idea to yell at them, okay? You don't know if kids have special needs. You don't know if they have sensory issues. You don't know if they're tired, or you just don't know. It's hard because so many people there are just so on edge. And you don't want that to become what you're doing. You just, if you feel that coming on, just stop and slow down, you know what I mean? And just do the things that are important. You don't want it to become like a nightmare. We did get yelled at one time by this lady. So this woman, she was very aggressive, okay? And I'm walking with Olivia, and we're kind of like, we had to cut over across. And you know, you're walking with a 4-year-old, they're looking around, And you know, she's kind of pulling me one way, I'm kind of going another way, and I'm trying to guide her through this crowd. This woman's coming, you know, they've all got their Disney shirts on. Her kids are just like walking like little soldiers that look freaking miserable. She's like so angry. And I walk across, I'm like, excuse me, you know, excuse us. And Olivia's so funny. Like, she goes, excuse us, you know, she's a polite kid, okay? I'm gonna brag on my kid, she's polite. So, oops, we stepped out in front of this woman. Okay, so we walk around. No one got hit, no one got hurt. I'm surprised I didn't get hit. I'm surprised I didn't hit someone. But anyway, so I hear this woman yelling, I turn around and she's going, don't watch where you're going, blah, 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 blah. You don't act like that. And I'm thinking, is that the message you want to send to your kids, really? You've got these little like soldier kids that you're probably like whipping to like stay into shape. And is it really a better message to like lose your cool and like yell at someone in front of your kids? Probably not, but whatever, that's what happened. And my point is, you're gonna see some stuff. People are gonna piss you off. People will step out in front of you. They will bump into you. You might get a few dirty looks, you know what I mean? But whatever. You just gotta keep your cool, okay? People get very on edge there. You don't wanna be one of those people, you know what I mean? You wanna have a good trip. You know, at night you'd be at dinner, and we were at the hotel one night, and there was this family, and they were just like, oh, you know, and the dad was like, okay, we're gonna have a good day tomorrow. It's gonna be great. No, it's not gonna be like today. We're gonna go here, we're gonna go there, we're gonna go, and the kids are like, you know, and it's like, I get it. Parents, you're so wrapped up. We're all, and even I had these moments of thinking, how, you know, we paid so much for this trip. Are we really seeing everything? Are we doing everything? And the answer is yes. Olivia had the time of her life, and she's still talking about it, and it was a special moment, you know. And you don't have to have that pressure of, holy shit, we've paid this much for this trip. We have to hit the whole freaking place, because that may not be what's most enjoyable for your family. Do you know what I mean? Maybe just do the things you like to do so that the whole trip is more of just the good stuff. Biggest message, and this is it right here. When I said that, it's kind of like an epiphany. It's better to do more of all of the stuff you like, even if it's the same stuff over and over. Go to the same park that you love, and maybe doing fewer things, but it's all the things that you love the whole time, rather than a 5-day trip of just doing everything and maybe only a few things that you really love. Do you know what I mean? You may say, oh, I have the satisfaction of saying I saw everything, but maybe I wasn't having the greatest time the whole time. You know what I mean? Maybe just do the great things, even if it's fewer things, just the whole time. Do you know what I mean? Do them over and over if that's what you want to do. And definitely stay at the Polynesian. I loved it so much. We are not a member of the Disney Vacation Club, and a lot of you guys had talked about it. I know some people that are, and they're like really into it. We might ask them some questions about it. If you guys are, let me know about it. I mean, we don't go multiple times a year. We usually, if we do go, just go once a year. Would it be worth it? I know they say like you have to pick a home resort, and some of you guys said, oh, we're Disney Vacation Club members and our home resort is the Polynesian, and I'm like, that sounds fun. But I'm just not sure, like, what are the perks? Do you feel like you get a good value for the price? And how often do you have to go to get the good out of it? Just let me know, because my child, I think, is like ruined, and she like loves Disney World. Like the whole way home she was already talking about like what she wants to do next time, and I'm brought out like, oh my gosh. So let me know. I want to hear your thoughts. So thank you guys for watching. This may be the longest video ever. I don't know. I feel like I've been sitting here a very long time today, but I just wanted to talk about it, you know, just talk about things, and maybe hopefully you got something out of this. And yeah, I really enjoyed chatting with you guys today. Love you so much. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful week. Bye, y'all.